Okay, we are live with what is my first StreamYard stream. Um, had some, difficulties past couple of weeks as I've been just testing around between, my work schedule and playing Guild Wars and doing other stuff. So I never really worked them out until I decided this morning, I wasn't going to do a stream. And then I was like, hey, let's go on and stream. And here we are. I have put a link in the chat for anyone preferably cool people who would want to come in and join. Sorry, I'm having to pay attention to like 12 things at once. And I also got a cat at my door meowing for attention because I decided to give her some attention earlier. And now she's like, he paid attention to me. I'm gonna beg for cuddles all day because apparently she doesn't get enough love around this place. But right, that's enough of that. As a test, I've got a video up for us to watch. And as people pop in on chat and or decide to join in to the stream itself, we'll just see what happens. This could go terrible. This could go great. Who knows? But for now, add in our friend Cece. That's right, Chris, from Westchester County, New York. It's going to do some more flat Earth goodness because that's a light way to start the day, right? Just goofing on him. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I can't talk today.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 9/19/24. Why? Why? Why do you believe in this unimaginable world that just couldn't possibly exist?
He tries to be so epic in these introductions, and he's almost there if he wasn't an absolute clown. Like, the delivery of that was, 6 out of 10, but it just falls flat because, no pun intended, falls flat because we know who this guy is. We know the level of just crazy he is, but there's still a charm to it.
You see, when you subscribe to believing in something that couldn't possibly exist, then you subscribe to believing in all the scientists.
And something they couldn't believe or possibly exist. Oh yeah, that's the scientist, not the crazy flat Earth and the magic sky daddy and all the stuff that entails. Because um, who was it? It was Grayson. Grayson did a video about the strong correlation between flat earthers and being creationists, and or evangelical Christians. I think was the more refined category. And I thought it was a pretty interesting talk, and it's a trait that I had noticed. Um, because the flat earthers almost universally seem to get the idea from the biblical view of the world as literally written and interpreted by some people. I mean, there's all kinds of interpretations because it's a magic book of stories that don't add up. But yeah, it's just a funny correlation. So you get, the science denial, you get the denial of reality, you get the denial of the planet shape, you get the denial of the fact that there obviously isn't any kind of magical deity doing any kind of crazy stuff, especially not in the books. And then they project it onto us.
That talk about
CC trying to ward off predators with that hair. Oh, you know, I figured it was his best mating ritual presentation. That's what I always figured. But now that you bring it up, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he's trying to do both. Maybe the ones that don't run away, I'll be able to, be able to court them. My lady, tips Fedora. God. Sorry, I'm just imagining him now all hipstered out. Don't go looking for pictures of me from circa 2012, 2013 range. Yeah, I was at a fedora face. I'll admit it now. I denied it back then, even though it was obvious. Let's continue.
about nonsense of hypothetical situations like quantum theories and black holes. And you have to subscribe to all of that. You do realize that, right? Double black holes, diamond planets. Um,
And he says this like there's nothing mathematically precluding a planet of diamond in the most, you know, layperson terms to describe it as existing. You know, Jupiter's effectively a failed star. It's just, the way you can phrase some things just makes them sound completely weird. Yet, when you look into it, it makes sense. Get some really high pressure, a whole lot of carbon, you can get what amounts to a diamond planet.
of just pure nonsense. Garbage. Double planets. I love that one. That's when two planets are actually together and they're both revolving around. You have to believe in that.
Oh, you mean like how Pluto and its moon Charon are? They're effectively a double planet? Because the very center they orbit around, that center isn't actually in the mass of either one. The Earth and Moon almost qualify. Almost. I mean, we literally we see this stuff, but again, planets don't exist to you.
Okay. You have to believe in all the scientists that tell you what you live on when they have no idea either. They're just fed and regurgitating everything that they learned in school, which you'll never learn because you never went for your master's or anything like that in any of these degrees that any of these teachers or scientists have. Did you? I don't think you did. You just believe everything that they say. And when you believe in what they say, they tell you a sun or a star.
I'm gonna have to find him rambling on about Pluto, because if there's something I love for some sick, twisted reason, it's people getting pissed off about Pluto. For whatever reason, they just get so mad about Pluto. It existing, it not existing, it being classed as a planet, it being classed as a dwarf planet. It's like, oh, we sent a probe to visit it, but we didn't. For some reason, people get so pissed about Pluto, and it's hilarious to me. I don't care about the other planets. They may think Saturn's pretty. They don't know nothing about Neptune. Don't ask them about Uranus. I think you're coming on to them. Oh, fuck. We're going to have to find one of those and do a dedicated video to his Pluto rants. His plutocracy, as it were. That'd be fun.
An object up in the sky is a certain amount of distance away when they have no idea how to measure anything like that because their measurements don't make any sense.
Except the measurements do make sense, CC. And if you bothered to look at all into the methodologies and even just try to do some basic math, you'd find out things are right. I hated math growing up, but I still put it amongst myself to try to do some of the basic calculations that were examples of figuring out this, that, the other, saw that it worked, and was able to decide, yeah, they're probably right on the rest of this stuff. Because, I kept an open mind, but not so open my brain fell out.
The measurements they had a couple of 100 years ago never added up to begin with anyway, and that's what they're using to measure stuff now and telling you exactly how many light years this is away, or how many millions of light years this is away, or how big the universe is. It would be absolutely impossible. I go back to NDT.
So, argument from incredulity, anybody? That's all I'm hearing.
When he spews out this bullshit that nobody could actually see the curve of Earth unless if you were out in space. Okay, but yeah, we have people who believe in this spinning wet ball, like I did too at one point. Remember, we were all globe earthers at one point or another, but then we woke up and something clicked. But hold on.
No, I think a very critical component burned out, and it never got replaced.
When he spews out this nonsense, that would be NDT, saying you can't see a curve unless if you're out in space. That's when you can see the curve. It's funny because we don't even have a picture of Earth. from space. But
So what I would do here is I would put the dating game music to a slideshow of photos of Earth from space. I would love to do that, and I really should sometime. Because one, that's a Herb Alpert and Tijuana brass track, and they're awesome, and that album is awesome. But for two, it just the myriad of images, but they reject them all, so they can make this claim that we don't have a picture of it from space, except we do, and you're just like, nuh-uh. How the do you argue with that? I counter it by y'all saying Earth's flat. Nuh-uh. I win.
that's a whole different video. Um, so how can we tell how far away everything is without being actually further away from the object? And no, I see. No, hold on. Let me get back on track here. The universe. How can we actually know the size of the universe without actually being outside of the universe and looking at the universe? You see, it works both ways. Don't you see? Yeah, I got confused with that for a second too.
I don't think there's ever a point in time you're not confused, Chris. It's okay. I get confused often too. Sometimes just going to the fridge. Totally forget what I was going there for. Probably to be disappointed that there's nothing good to snack on, but that's a different issue. That's unrelated to the shape of the earth. You're confused about everything. The fact that you're allowed to drive kind of scares me. Also, the fact that you're married and that you have a house with the way the world is and the way living in America is really terrifying. You're successful when people infinitely smarter than you are suffering every single day in one capacity or another. And let's not get into, being poor in America isn't so bad compared to other countries. We're not getting into all that. It's just a principle that it's like in The Simpsons when Frank Grimes goes to Homer's place and is like, "You live in a palace. You're having lobster for dinner. Your son owns a factory." It's like, what the fuck? You're a complete failure, yet you're a success. I'm successful, yet I'm a complete failure. It's so weird.
It's, we're all trying to figure this out without master's degrees and bullshit and yin yang.
And yeah, maybe, if the math is a little too complicated and the concepts are a little bit outside of your ability to think, maybe you should just defer to the experts because, again, it's these same methodologies and same processes which had developed the very technology you're using to make this video. But they never want to acknowledge that. Or they do and they want to say that's good science, but the rest of it's all bad. It's a conspiracy. Because, they can't accept the obvious reality.
Without, um, I really shouldn't be walking on this quite yet, but
I'm sorry, I think I've just turned my live streams and all my videos into just chances to rant. I mean, I guess that's all it is, and that's why you tune in and to have a laugh. But tune in shows my age. But seriously, like sometimes all you can do is just be like, "What? What? Hold up a second, getting the monologue ready." Which is why I would like if someone else decided to join in, they'd join in and they could monologue along with me. So it'd be not a dialogue, but a duologue. Yeah, we're breaking new ground in linguistics here. Back to CC.
feels much better. I got the boot off and everything. Without regurgitating stuff that we learned in school, because most of us don't have a master's degree. And I'm thankful I don't, because then I would be locked in and not being able to speak my mind. Because these people who have these master's degrees and these philosophers and all this other stuff, if they open their mouth and dare come out with flat earth, well, they'll be stripped of everything that they've ever earned.
Okay, and what if they all did it at once? How would you hide that kind of conspiracy? Why don't they all just align together and just go for it? We have examples of stuff like that happening where groups that are under a subjugated authority will rise up against this authority, against this oppression. There's been cultural revolutions in countries, some good, some not so good. There are military coups in many countries. Lots of them happened in mine and your lifetime, CC. I don't know how old you are, but you ain't that much older than me. You look a hell of a lot older than me, but that's a different story. Not gonna knock you for for that. Just saying. You know, you can see systems get changed, get overthrown. So if this was such a massive conspiracy and was something that was being hidden for such a critical reason that y'all can never explain what the reason they lie about the shape of the planet is, if this was such an obviously known thing, you would think the entire community would just be like, no, we're going with this. Because what are they going to do when the system's taken down? They're the ones in charge now. But you don't think about that. You don't think about the idea of maybe if there was so much oppression going on and denial of the facts, the people who are supposed to care about the facts would actually go with this. No, it's all still conspiracy to you. Because that's just how a flat earther's mind works. That's just how a creationist's mind works. That's how an anti-vaxxer's mind works. That's how all of you think. At the end of the day, Soft sits too, that it's all a fucking conspiracy against you and the world can't simply be the way it is.
That's right.
Thanks, I'm glad you agree with me.
All the books and articles that say that they were the best professors around, gone. Cars gone. Reputation gone. In an instant, gone. Doctors, lawyers, all of them, teachers, all gone by saying one thing, flat earth, and that it's true. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Yeah, that maybe the idea is so absolutely fucking idiotic that anyone who even promotes it seriously should not even be considered as valid for any kind of role in things like education, in the sciences and the like, because it's just so patently wrong that their entire opinion on everything can just be thrown out.
Politics, politicians, these career fucking politicians. Okay.
Hello, Michael. Thanks for stopping in.
These motherfucking career politicians are so bad. They've never had a job in their lives, but yet they give you the barometer of what you're going to pay for gas, what you're going to pay in the supermarket.
Here we go. CC's diatribe on the president controls gas prices and controls the food prices. This is what kills me. All right, I'm gonna go on another little rant here. This is some of the right wing bat shittery that I just don't get. And I'm not saying he's necessarily right wing or left. I'm sure he's probably on the right somewhere. That just is a trend with these types of people. But here's the thing that gets me. All right. Hang on. What Michael had to say. I'd argue being a politician is a job. It's governing. Yeah, exactly. If you actually do your job as a government official, then that type of very specialized management of an abstract concept like a government body, a municipality of some kind, is work in the same way that running a company is work, be it a small one or a large one. That the key thing though is that if you're actually doing work as opposed to just being the typical fat cat that the system has kind of made things into being, but that's a different argument. What I was saying on oh fuck, I forgot where I was on what I was going to say. Let me jump back on CC and see if that jogs my memory.
Or what you're going to pay for gas.
Right. Him talking about the cost of gas and stuff. So this crazy right wing logic that comes with this is that prices are dictated by government bodies as if we're in a command economy like the Soviet Union, except we're not in a command economy. It's a capitalist system whereby the corporations set the prices, the businesses set the prices, and they complain about the prices being what they are when they constantly allow corporations, big business, and the like to run effectively unchecked, untaxed, uncontrolled, unlegislated, and then they whine about the prices of things. Well, maybe if you let BP and them stop allowing them to do X, Y, and Z, the fuel prices will go down. Maybe if you stopped kissing the ass of people in Saudi Arabia, things would be a little better. Oil conglomerates run countries like that. I'm not trying to get on some sort of conspiracy thing of, oh, it's all a big business conspiracy. I mean, it's business being business. Capitalism running unchecked can result in that kind of greed and that kind of control that doesn't benefit anybody. In the same way that a command system that's run too strictly can ruin everybody's day. 8-year waiting list for a car in East Germany. Kind of sucks. You can get a car. It'll be 8 years before you get it. Welcome to command economies. But it's just this idea that there's the leader of a municipality of the country is just some king dictating on high is fucking ridiculous. Especially given during the Trump presidency, there were, I think, more executive orders than any other presidency. I could be mistaken on that, but there was a fuck ton of them, which are generally supposed to be reserved, but have been increasingly used as time has gone on because this political system in the United States is fucked. There's my rant. Back to CC while I look at some of the comments.
What you're going to pay in the supermarket. Okay? They're the people who control. And that's why flat Earth is being hidden. Not only that, because of God, who created all of this for you.
Exactly. It is the system working as designed. There's that joke of once a person reaches $1 million, they don't get any more money, and they get a little plaque that says, "Congratulations, you won at capitalism," or like $1 billion. I don't know, one or the other. That should be how it's done. It's like, congratulations, like Monopoly, you won. Now, let the rest of the world, recuperate. Let's balance things out. Everything's good. Everyone's happy. Because a happy workforce is a productive workforce. Or have people forgotten that? Which leads me to another thing, if I may. You ever see the meme floating around about it talks about Ford coming up with the 5-day work week, and then the bottom is like, everybody boo this man. They post that forgetting that Henry Ford had developed this idea so that people would actually have time to live their lives, to enjoy a weekend, to enjoy a couple of days in a row of not working, which would allow them to rest. They'd be more productive the rest of the week. And that before then, people would work on average 6 or 7 days, straight for ridiculous amounts of time. It was the turn of the 19th into the 20th century. We started having things called labor laws. I'm a proponent of the 4-day work week and of, balancing pay with work in a little bit more of a liberal way, shall we say, if the math can work out. But there's a whole lot of, systematic stuff that has to change before we could go to that. But I think that would increase our productivity even more, because I'm usually good for the first 3 days of work. Fourth day, I'm a little exhausted. My job is physically demanding. By Friday, I've mentally checked out. I'm done. And it's not for lack of wanting to. It's I physically and mentally just can't do anything more than the bare minimum. So I'm just there doing it. I'm a body, just trying to get through the day. So, balancing things out might work a little better. I think we have the capability, the resources, the human, the manpower, the number of people, the number of business opportunities to make it happen, but the system needs to change. That being said, this isn't supposed to be my treatise on economics, because I've not sat down and cemented all these thoughts. We're just getting into flat earthers who are like, God made all this, because that's where CC was going.
But also control. Okay? These politicians wouldn't be able to control you if there was a higher up. People would fucking realize what is real and what is bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sitting here kind of laughing at stuff CC says, but I don't hate the guy. He is like the most harmless flat earther. He's too funny to really dislike. And he may have some ideas some more critical ideas I don't agree with. I don't know. I kind of don't want to know. But, if it wasn't for the fact, he'd go into some crazy shit, I'd sit down and have coffee with him. I know one of my comment on my previous video on CC said something to that effect. And I'm like, yeah, that, he'd almost be someone you'd want to hang out with, as opposed to like Kent Hovind, or as opposed to Jeranism, where it's just like, get the hell away from me.
Politics are bullshit. Okay, they're just puppets over there. That's all they are. They're nothing. COVID-19. Remember that?
Oh God, here we go. 5 minutes, 57 seconds in. That's how it is with CC's videos. Like the first half is something kind of sensible, but it's still insanity. Then he just goes right off into the batshit closet of the Twilight Zone.
I'll never forget it because I lived through it. That's right.
CC, everyone watching your videos lived through it. All right. There is no one 4 years old watching your videos. At least I hope to God there's not. Can't see how a 4-year-old would be interested in this. There's no skibbity gat riz, but you know.
I had to go through all the nonsense of every single person telling me if I don't do what I was told to do, I'm going to die and I'm a threat to everybody else out there. Well, that didn't really work out very well. No, it didn't. Standing the test of time with that was obviously didn't work out for the people. You should replay some of those videos, especially the ones of Cuomo. Fuck you, Cuomo, and every other politician out there. Career politicians are bullshit.
How many people died of the Rona? How many people in the New York area and his area died of the Rona? Can anyone find that out for me, please? Because, had everyone just stayed the fuck home like they were supposed to for a good, 3 or 4 weeks, minimized going out, minimized, any hanging with friends, instead of throwing, crazy ass parties 3 days into lockdown because they got bored of not seeing the same people they don't even give a fuck about, we'd have been through that. But no. Whatever. We managed to get through that shit, but these ass clowns made it as hard as possible. And I know people who lost people due to the Rona and have to restrain themselves when around people like this because it was their attitudes that directly caused the other person to get sick, for them to be exposed and die. They were taking precautions. They did everything they could. And they still, because of connections up to people who were going out doing whatever, didn't care, didn't wear masks, didn't have their friends wear masks, didn't care where they were, ended up spreading it around, and that was the end of that. It fucking sucks. I thankfully haven't lost anybody directly. Few people I know have had it, very few. I've not, which I'm kind of surprised at. But yeah, I don't know how to finish this rant, so we're gonna continue.
Hate them all because that's what they're there to do. They're there to make you believe they're going to do things, and then when they get into their office and they sit back, see, these people are trying to fight for only making $120,000 a year. That's it. They want to make $120,000 a year, and they are fighting.
77,000 people no longer with us because of attitudes like CC's. Now, granted, not all of those. I mean, the disease is going to do what a disease does, but when they're that concerned about it, and it had the ferocity that it had in the initial outbreak and some of the early mutations, you think people would be cautious, but no. Then again, the same thing happened during the I don't want to call it the Spanish flu because that's a misnomer. That's its common name, though. But the influenza outbreak in circa 1920, right after World War I, people did much the same thing during that, and it also cost quite a few lives. So I guess this is just people being people. It's always the same shit. We never change. And that's the terrifying thing, is that we've always been the same. Which means back in Roman times, there was a Roman version of me doing this exact same shit to other people, probably reading from some scroll or something and mocking it to people who would just come on the street corner and watch him do it. And no one did anything except some guy who probably threw, like, I was going to say a tomato, but tomatoes weren't in Rome at that point. Threw something at him. Why not a potato? Why not? Threw whatever. Grapes. We're talking Italy. Grapes. Just smacked them with some grapes and be like, shut up. I don't know.
To get into that office because they're pocket lined, all of them. They're making millions of dollars. Look at Obama. He had nothing when he became president. Now, mansions all over the place. And I'm really pissed off that motherfucker destroyed the Higgins estate out there in Maui. Really?
Chat, y'all know I love you. Anyone want to tell me what the fuck he's on about? I mean, I don't know. Last I checked, being in Congress got you money enough to be able to buy things. Had this, that, the other. Obama wasn't poor going into the presidency, but destroying Higgins' estate. Obama owns some mansion in Maui. I forgot I can just click the thingy here. Anti-vaxxers, just an insult to the millions that die from diseases that are easily vaccinated against. The daughter has MS. She gets COVID, it could be serious for her. Exactly. It's like you've got to consider, I mean, I know a lot of us can be pretty misanthropic. We hate other people. I like individual humans, but I generally hate humanity. But I certainly don't want a situation where people can't simply be out and about without it seriously risking their lives. And yes, politicians being compensated for their work. Exactly. The pay and kickbacks and the like are a serious problem. Again, the problems are with the way the system operates, not the presence of the system itself per se.
Was it Maui? Kauai? I'm not sure where Magnum PI that show took place, but it ripped the whole fucking mansion down. Put his own little mega mansion up. All gone. Fuck you, Obama. And fuck you for every president out there that has been a career president. Anybody.
What the hell is a career president? You get 2 terms. Technically, a maximum of 10 years, which would only happen under very specific criteria of you having been the vice president and assuming the presidency right after a particular time period, halfway through a term, and all kinds of other nuances have to happen. But career president, like Vladimir Putin, is that what you're going for? Because I can agree with you there. Oh, technically speaking, Kim Il Sung, even though he died in 1994, is still the president of North Korea. Every time a dear leader dies, they just take whatever title they had, immortalize them in it, and then whatever the next lowest thing is, or they come up with something to be the next lowest thing, and they make that the new top position. Because if you didn't know, North Korea is a little weird.
He was a career politician, career president, career politician, shall I say. Anybody.
There you go. You corrected yourself. Good job.
Who's been made a career out of politics is bullshit. And you should know that by now. I want you to think of COVID. I want you to think of China. During the.
Oh, no. Here we go. I don't know. Does CC cross into racist lines? Because I feel like he might cross into racist lines. And anti-Asian hate really, really gets under my skin. I mean, a lot of ethnic hate gets under my skin, like all of it. But, I've got my particular pet peeves.
The epidemic, there was a bit of a problem in a certain country. It was almost like a bit of a revolution. All of a sudden, they saw that it was actually working. They had to hide somebody from us who was recently elected. Put him in the basement somewhere. Obviously, have you seen any of the speeches he's made recently? Who's running the country right now? I mean, really, who the fuck is running the country? If we were to go into this war that everybody says that we're going to go into, this fake nuclear war, who is running the country? No one. No one, and there never has been. Don't you?
Is he trying to say no one's running China, or is he trying to say no one's running the U.S.? I can't tell anymore. His train of thought derailed about 20 minutes ago, but at this point, the individual cars have fragmented, yet still somehow are maintaining their velocity as they skid across frozen over Great Lakes, coming from Chicago to slam into some spot in Michigan. I don't know where.
You realize that? It's all bullshit. All of it when it comes down to this.
Biden isn't actually running the country. I mean, one, yeah, that I think that might be what he's saying, and two, shit, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But then again, the president isn't a dictator to begin with. Their powers are pretty well specified. And for some fucking reason, I guess because of the nature of celebrity worship, the country freaking obsesses over that one particular position while caring jack diddly for all the positions that actually affect our lives on the grand scale.
Look on the map. Go onto Google Maps. Look at the cities around. They have all of us in this circle of nonsense of population. Meanwhile, there's
They have all of us in this circle of nonsense of population. Cece, do you understand how civilization works? The benefits of a social species? Are you rallying the ants to rebel? Because they centralize too? How about the schools of fish, bro? Ooh, trees in a forest. Nope, nope. Trees have to be evenly spaced out. They can't congregate in a forest. Your trees are growing too close to each other. Y'all got to move out this way. What the fuck, Cece? What are you on about?
millions of acres all over the place, enough to satisfy every single person in this country. And they're going to have an acre of land, acre and a half of land, but yet we're all congested in this one little area, all throughout every state.
Yeah, welcome to pricing people out of things. The system sucks. It's not a conspiracy. It's capitalism doing what it does, as was presented by our friend Michael here quite well a minute ago.
In the country. Because they
People can't afford to live? That means it's working.
want us like that. Oh, yeah, that's right. They give us this bullshit that we can't put telephone poles in certain areas. We don't need telephone poles. We're self-sufficient. What did we do back in the 1800s? We didn't have any telephone poles back then. We were quite content living in a house with a fireplace.
Were you, Cece? Were you? Were you quite content in 1865 in a fireplace in a house? So don't think you were around then, buddy. And given all that fancy shit you got in frame, there's a microwave there, there's some recessed lighting, probably LED based, you got some paintings there, you got a table, you got like a kettle, you got the stove top, looks like a nice gas range there, you got your solo cup on the side, probably another microwave or something, coffee maker, who knows? Do you go every day without using any of those conveniences? I mean, you're using the electric lights right fucking now. So no, I don't think you'd be comfortable back then, buddy. I don't think any of us would be. We're too damn acclimated to modernity, and that's absolutely fine. Because people in the 1800s would have had a hell of a time trying to live like people in 5000 BC. That would have fucking sucked for them. Could they have done it? Sure. Could we do it? Sure. But we're used to the standard that we have now. And that's just progress. Doesn't make anyone better or worse. It just is. I'm talking about, you can't let you put up telephone poles. Well, there's zoning things for a reason. Otherwise, everything becomes a clusterfuck. Look up Kowloon Walled City. Look at what happens. The beautiful nightmare that gets created if nothing is adhered to. There's no codes, no laws. Amazing place. Incredible that a single little fire didn't spark and burn the whole thing down. Most densely populated spot on Earth during the time it existed. Would you want everywhere else, as you're already complaining about civilization, everyone being put into circles of cities and populations? Would you want a Kowloon Walled City to be every city? Or would you like there to be some sort of order, some sort of control? I think you'd prefer the latter, CC. And with utility poles and stuff, they can be an eyesore. They can cause problems. Underground stuff can generally be better. It's more expensive. It is better protected. In some places, that's just what they want. That's the way they're going. Deal with it or move. You have that option. You don't have to be in Westchester County forever.
Cup of coffee, making our own dinners. So have you noticed, do you live in a city? Because I do. Okay. Have you noticed the influx of...
Cece, I live in a city, in a section of a city. I don't like having to live here, but I live in a section of the city, good old Memphis, where if I walk down to one of the main roads that's just right there, I can look out my window and see it. the main roads of the city. I can walk down there, and if I go across the street, there's Bell System manhole covers still, where some of the main telephone lines and trunk cabling went. The Bell System, something that ceased to exist between the period of 1982 and 1984. 40 years ago. It's a nice, older part of town. It's not so nice. It's a little run down, a little fucked up, but, it'll probably get better as soon as I finally get to a place I want to be, and then the place I want to be will be shit, but that's just Memphis. Point is, I forget. But I just felt like saying that. God, sometimes just the rants just make me feel better about whatever the hell he was going on about. He's going to complain. I swear he's going to get into some ethnic bullshit here, so we're going to step back a hair and we're going to go fresh.
Making our own dinners. So have you noticed, do you live in a city? Because I do. Okay. Have you noticed the influx of scooters now? All up and down the road, up and down. I see like 4 because I'm home all the time now at this point with this fucking thing going on. Up and down 4 or 5 times. They must be making a bundle. Whoever owns this company, or this Grubhub or whatever the hell it is, they must be just cashing in, because I hear these things going up and down. And the good thing is some of them actually have plates on them, which is amazing, but the plates are all mangled up. A metal plate mangled up like a piece of paper, and then, like, I guess they took a hammer and what the fuck? You have a New York State plate just completely mangled and destroyed. Obviously, it was involved in some sort of accident, perhaps.
This just in, CC surprised that civilization plus technology equals, holes being filled. I don't know what to take from this. His brain clearly shut down and he's on autopilot, which is pretty damn impressive, because I thought I was bad when I had those moments, which I've had like 3 of them in this live stream already, but he takes the cake for just complete incongruency. Wow. Honestly, I should probably talk to this guy just to see what happens. I'd rather talk to him than Hovind.
Perhaps, well, maybe because none of them have any lights on them. Okay, these drivers are obviously here temporarily. I mean,
Oh, there we go. He was talking about the scooters. Now he's getting into the drivers and the operators. So, CC, gonna explain something to you. So, we already know you're trying to go into something ethnic, cultural, an immigrant issue on this. Jobs can be difficult to get for people who are coming in from another part of the world, even today, in what should be a very, very accepting society that obviously isn't. There's also relatively limited roles that someone can fill if their first language isn't English and they may not have necessarily learned English or learned good English, quote unquote, good English. I find broken English beautiful, but that's a discussion for another point. Jobs like driving Uber, doing those kinds of delivery jobs, if they're not the kind of person who, if you think of the traditional, just to say, traditional Mexican immigrant, quote unquote, doing like construction work, the stereotype that you think of, that's a very common thing because, hey, it's something you can do that, you just do it. You're just physical labor. It's a job you can do. But if you're not built for that, that's not your bag. Delivering food to places, you can read a map, you can read address numbers, getting people from point A to point B. As long as you know hi, bye, thank you and stuff, you're usually okay. From my experience, Uber drivers have always been super nice. I feel bad for people who treat them poorly because the people, getting the rides want to be racist pieces of shit, but that's not me. Love talking to people from elsewhere in the world. They need jobs too. And I'm glad that they take job opportunities where they can find them, that they're wanting to work, because it shows that the weird idea that some of the right have, that immigrants are lazy, gets thrown right the fuck out the window. And that's another one of those little paradoxes of right-wing ideology, is that somehow immigrants are all lazy, but they're also taking all the jobs. Which one is it? It can't be both. Sorry, had to go on like my 12th rant this stream.
and nobody in their right
Sorry, I've had the freaking window doing a thing. It was stupid. Stupid Google Chrome.
mind would get on one of these scooters in the middle of the dead of winter and ride up and down the road delivering food. No, no, no. But you've seen an influx of that, right? Look at the supermarkets. Who's hanging outside the supermarkets? They're just sitting there looking at their phones,
Teenagers?
waiting for the next idiot to call and charge them an extra $65 for delivery.
Hey, the companies setting all this stuff up charge that shit. The drivers and such get jack diddly. I've checked with Uber drivers. They get fucking peanuts compared to what the rides are charged sometimes. It's bullshit. Those companies, the people, literally, people running those companies need their asses kicked. Hank Hill style. But you're literally complaining about people doing their job. People working. Because it's just not a job you like, that you respect. Have you never ordered anything? What's the difference between someone waiting outside of a store for an order to come in for inside of that store so they can hop in and grab the stuff and then go, versus the postal worker waiting for the packages to get loaded on their truck and then drive it out to your place? The FedEx person. Anything. What the fuck? You need to get jobs. No, not those kinds of jobs. Fuck you, CC.
I saw one scooter today. Not today, the other day. The rare occasions I get to go out now at this point.
Exactly. If people want to spend the money, deliver food, who's going to tell them no? Free market and all that? Exactly.
It was delivering Starbucks. Are you fucking kidding me? Starbucks. That's how lazy people have gotten ever since COVID.
No, people were lazy before that. It's just there weren't that many services to provide that. Then there was a big boom on that. And my job, we'll crack jokes about people who place online orders and could have just come in, and sometimes it'd actually be quicker for them to come in, grab the item, purchase it up front, and go than the amount of time they spend waiting on us to go through the system and pick it up. But still, it is what it is. Is this really that big of a deal? And what the fuck does it have to do with flat Earth? You're supposed to be a flat earther, right? That's supposed to be the focus of your channel. But it just seems like it's CC's random 11-minute rant, which is fine. But these are two completely separate things. COVID and people being lazy versus Earth is flat and it's a conspiracy. Or is people being lazy a conspiracy too? I'm seriously surprised here. Like, what the fuck? This dude's an absolute gold mine for content. It's not good for my blood pressure, but shit.
Everything has to be delivered to them. You see, COVID changed a lot of people. That's right. They're still in La La Land doing work from their house.
Uh-oh, this just in. Guy who does YouTube videos complaining about people... does YouTube videos in his house complaining about people working from home. Film at 11. Oh man, it's almost as if with the advances in technology, the modern office work environment is effectively obsolete, and that indeed quality work can be done from people located wherever they happen to live rather than having to go to a centralized place for it.
Oh man, just pisses me off.
Oh yeah, pizza delivery totally existed pretty much forever. Okay, time for me to go on another rant. Okay, self-checkouts. I love them because I already have anxiety problems. I'm antisocial. Weird that I'm doing live streams and such. That's part of why I do these videos and do the live streams, is to get over that. So you have the self-check, you go, you check out, you do your thing, everything's good. But you get these people who will get in lines because, like Walmart, the line will be a big amorphous blob because there's 5,000 people and it just is what it is. And it's like, is this self-check? Oh, I don't work here. So, and it's like, okay, you just went and walked around the store and picked up your own products. A century ago, that was virtually unheard of until Piggly Wiggly grocery store here in Memphis. came up with the concept of you shopping for the items you want rather than taking a shopping list to a clerk at a front desk and them going back and filling your order. So the way everyone in the Western world shops was invented here and is the same thing. It's you doing what was once the work of the people there. But that's so that you can pick the product that you want, so that costs can be saved by having fewer people have to be doing work and be filling orders all the time. They can be working on other projects, other things. And a century later, you're taking the benefits of that system and you're going to get mad over self-check because you don't want to scan your own shit. I get that it can be intimidating, but you eventually figure it the fuck out like you do everything else in the world. And it boils down to people not wanting to learn shit. I didn't know how StreamYard works until I didn't know about it until I saw AJ using it. I just got stuff working today. I decide, oh, hey, let me try in Chrome and actually do everything in Chrome. Oh, holy shit, it works. Okay, Firefox isn't working too well for me. I'm just gonna have to do it in Chrome. It took my stupid self like a week to figure it out. And by that, I mean, I tried it last Sunday, got nowhere, tried it today, finally got somewhere. But still, it's the principle that I didn't just whine about it. I went and learned. And that's one of the biggest problems, is that people just refuse to learn anything or refuse to. I'm not saying all change is good. And I'm not saying to not hold your peace on preferences somewhere. Definitely say what you think. But to whine about self-check like people do is fucking mental. Because if you get used to it, it becomes faster. You don't have to deal with somebody who doesn't want to fucking be there anyway. You scan your own shit. You can bag it however you want. You're in complete control. Unless you're the kind of person who doesn't even wipe their own ass, is chauffeured everywhere, and, has to have someone change the channels on the damn TV for you, then using a self-check is nothing. The people get fucking bent out of shape over it. Fuck. These is all boomers are about to be extinct, so there's that.
Pisses me off to no extent.
Yeah, pisses me off to no extent too, CC.
All right. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life.
Okay, that was a thing that we watched. Right now, I'm going to see what our good friend Kent has been up to. I should have someone else on. They would fill the time. That was indeed a video.
Kent Hovind here in the.
God. Okay. Okay. Let me get this going again. Oh, wrong one. Hey, I did it. I transitioned seamlessly. You couldn't even tell I was working on it, could you? Yeah. Am I poker faced enough yet? Yeah. Anyway. Oh man. Can't open jump scare. I apologize. Yes. Just random Hovind out of nowhere. No one needs that. This happens regularly enough. In my first live stream during the intro sequence with the test pattern and the North Korean music, I ended up playing a few seconds of a Kent video, and so just in the middle of just nice music cuts out, and you hear his annoying ass voice. All right. I've got no plans for this. We're just going to see if anything fun comes out of this. We've already got the nightmare that is Sandra, who looks nothing like the photo that Kent was using of her. I should just add, she's gone like full Karen here. And actually, she went from the dark hair to like doing the blonde dye job because Kent seems to have a type for, what he is after Joe. Yeah, I don't know. This was his thing today. Let's see if he says something stupid in the beginning. At the very worst, we'll get the god awful singing that they do. Because, oh man, neither one of them is singing in a recognizable key. They are not in the same key. And Kent's fake ass baritone is just awful. Combined with Sandra's just generally awful singing. But at least she's singing in a natural register. But they can't even get it together. I can imagine God sitting there. Oh, they're singing songs to me. Oh, God, stop! No, me, no! Just being like, fuck it.
Kent Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland and Sandra Hovind at Dinosaur Adventureland, Lenox, Alabama. It is October the 13th, 2024.
I'm not gonna lie, that it's almost a slap delay, kind of an echo effect. Kind of sounds cool, if one for the fact it's Hovind.
Morning will be in Psalm 27. Life is a battle. How many of you have ever gone through a few battles in your life, either financial battles?
So I had recorded yesterday or the day before a good chunk of a video and decided to abandon it because I just got tired of like during it. I was just like, this isn't working. And I went off on about Kent and these damned show of hands. Kent, this is not a presentation. We're not in the audience with you and with everyone else. We are on a fixed camera. We cannot see all the people raising their hands. So this show of hands presentation doesn't work for your live stream audience, which is supposed to be the primary audience, because there's obviously more of us than there are the 20 or so people crammed into the little white death building at, Pearl Lane. It's not only a juvenile tactic for trying to get people to understand, ooh, other people like me have done this, that, the other. Like I've said repeatedly, it's a children's teaching method, but also we can't fucking see it.
Physical battles, spiritual battles. Yeah, okay. Life's just a battle. We're talking about that in Psalm 27 in a minute. We're on Facebook, if you can follow us there if you'd like.
No, I'd rather not.
We're on our own TV program. Is that right, Dr. Kent Hovind? I don't have a TV. Okay.
Dr.KentHovind.tv. I was actually just thinking that, like, is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. Also, you're not a doctor.
And TikTok. Now, every Sunday morning at 9:30, Sandra and I do a TikTok for subscribers only. If you want to spend $5 to become one of those.
Hell no.
You can be coming to our 9:30 program. Okay, let's see. I got the same slide in here twice. Remember we had a technical problem this morning? Ignore that. Okay, here we are. Psalm 27, October 23rd. Now, Dr. Melvin Meister has been a friend of mine for 45 years, and his wife sitting on the back row there. He now lives here at Dinosaur Adventureland and preaches several times a week.
Oh man, that clown does live there. I was wondering. This dude is fucking unhinged. Big Bad Mama, I think maybe Claude, have done some clips, and AJ showed me some stuff as me and him were hanging out one morning, and it was like, dude, you're fucking weird, man. Is this dude gonna take over if Kent kicks the bucket? Place your bets now. Which one will pass on to the other realm first? Friend of his for 45 years. Oh my god. Also, as you can see, if I change the formatting, I am now Dr. Chris Yamato, just like Kent. So yeah, we're just gonna, here we go. This layout. This is the layout Kent would use if he understood how to operate StreamYard. His stuff would be here. The thing would be, actually, it's not different from the streaming setup he uses normally, but yeah. Back to this insanity.
And praise God, the hundreds of people are watching his sermons and being blessed by them. I heard a rumor that tomorrow is his 63rd wedding anniversary. Is that true, brother? It's her. It's her anniversary, not yours. Okay.
Okay, how old is this dude then? Is he like 80? I mean, props to him for living that long and having that kind of energy. I mean, I could believe it. But damn, dude, you're ancient.
Have an anniversary song? Happy anniversary to you.
Oh, God, here we go. It's bullshit baritone.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary, dear Meisters. Happy anniversary to you. Yay.
Boo. Boo.
Can you imagine that poor lady, 63 years putting up with him?
He is an example of a godly man. He takes care of his wife from the minute they get up throughout the night, in the morning.
Had dementia now for 10 years, and I like picking on her here. One preacher had a rather strong-willed daughter.
I'm Ken Hovind. I'm going to talk bad about a woman even if she has dementia because it's in my nature. Because I'm Ken Hovind. Hovind. Wait, I gotta do it like him. Because I'm Ken Hovind. Even my singing is better than his, and mine's terrible.
Get married to a rather strong-willed young Marine sergeant in the church. After the vows and the kiss, he had the sound guy play a special song for them. Let's sing it, honey.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Who's ready? Are you ready for the real experience of these morons trying to sing together? Kent's overbearing, fake-ass baritone and Sandra's whatever you call it coming in the background. Let's do it.
The fight is on, the trumpet sound is ringing out, the cry to arms is heard afar and near. The Lord of hosts is marching on to victory, the triumph of the Christ will...
He just had to play catch up because he can't fucking hear her over his own damn belting.
Soon appear. The fight is on, O Christian soldier, and face to face in stern array, with armor gleaming and colors streaming, the right and wrong engage today. The fight is on, but be not weary.
All you can think of is chocolate rain. He should have turned away there, had a little caption. I move away from the mic to clear my throat. Or no, in Kent's case, I move into the mic to clear my throat.
Be strong and in his might hold fast. If God be for us, his banner o'er us, we'll sing the victor's song at last. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, to be completely honest, that wasn't as terrible as some of their other cases of singing. That was actually somewhat tolerable. It was still terrible, but it was less terrible.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. If you've been damaged by the hurricane,
and yeah, practicing first, definitely.
They're made homeless by the we've had several hurricanes here in the last few weeks. We want to help, okay? Many people, tragic what happened. Anybody got the final numbers of death from the Florida one or it's over 250 now for the one that went central United States. Sad. I've been through several hurricanes when I lived in Pensacola. I understand what you're going through. Okay, not fun. Let's see. If your damage was, if you were...
I go through hurricanes too, fellow humans. Hovind.
Made homeless by the hurricane, we would like to help, okay? You can come stay at DAL for a while, a couple days, couple weeks, maybe a month if we stretch it, okay? But we don't allow alcohol here at all. No drugs here at all. We're not here for rehab. If you love the Lord, don't drink or smoke. We're not going to let any new staff members come on that smoke, okay? Those that are here, keep it up, but you should quit, okay? If you love animals and love sharing the gospel, you might want to just move here. Join our...
I do love animals. Not like you seem to, Kent, according to your alleged search history, but we're not going to bring that up here. Oh, wait, I just did. But, I would take care of the animals to take care of the animals' sake. Fuck your God. I'm just here to make sure that the sheep don't die.
Our crew and take care of our petting zoo and farm. We can try it for a few weeks before we decide.
Our petting zoo and farm. He says it like he does water. The water of the petting zoo is low. Go fill up the water, Hovind.
We have nice cabins. People can stay in here. That's cabin 6, okay? Typical cabins.
He's done this presentation repeatedly. He still has to be like, it's cabin 6. And yeah, we got the comment in there about him having had strokes before, and he's not doing anything about it, not seeing a real doctor, just taking vitamins. I I mean, we don't know for sure if he's not seeing a real doctor, but you think someone would have, brought that up. It would have leaked because they have terrible operational security at DAL. We know everything. Well, mostly everything. We don't know where the bodies are. That's a joke. Relax. I don't believe there's any bodies buried at DAL, save for pigs and other livestock that just died and weren't, processed in whatever methods. Point is, DAL's still weird. No, yeah, Kent's not doing himself any favors, and he's 71, coming up on 72, and he really is starting to show the wear and tear of all the stress. Let's be real. Going through prison is stressful. I wouldn't know firsthand. I've never been a convicted felon, but from what I've seen on the internet, it's not easy. So between that, age coming up on him, and just honestly having to deal with assholes like me, AJ, R and Raw, we're correct, but we're still assholes. Maybe not R and Raw. He can be, but I'm a straight up jerk. Point is, and deal with this, the stress is probably taking its toll on him, combined with other health issues that he's not seeking medical attention for. So it's kind of sad to see him go downhill like this, but at the same rate, he's doing it to himself. He's denying that there's actually problems, even when they happen effectively in real time. And so you kind of can't be empathetic, especially given the other facets of his life.
It's like one side has bunk beds and a loft. You can sleep a bunch of kids in there, and a bathroom in the middle.
Yeah, Cindy saying he hadn't. It's likely the case. I was saying we don't know now since Cindy thankfully left. But we don't have evidence that he is going, so it's safe to presume he still isn't. It's that nuance of how evidence is and whether things are factual or not. It's like, yeah, I feel like at a point someone might have actually pushed him, or he might have taken it amongst himself to get at least some visitation on that, some consultation on the subject. That's the words I'm looking for. But I don't know.
And then 6B or 6A, the other half, is a queen bed and a loft for kids if they want to sleep up there. Okay. We have, let's see, cabin. What comes after cabin 5? 6. Mm-hmm. And then Rex, 7. Okay, good. Come stay in one of our cabins so you can do that.
We could make fun of him for that, but honestly, cabin numbering could have gotten skewed. They could have planned a cabin, canceled, not renumbered or something. So I'm not even going to rip into him for that. I think that's genuinely double checking because he just can't remember, because he might have had things screwed up for a while. I could see that happening at a place like DAL.
If you enjoy the teaching we do here at Dinosaur Adventureland and Genesis Baptist Church, pray about supporting us with your tithe and offering. The Bible says, let him that is taught in the word, if you're being...
Okay, so guys, if you want to help DAL, talk to Magic Sky Daddy about if you should support DAL with money and or other physical goods. So instead of consulting your doctor, if Viagra is good for you, you should consult your local deity on if giving money to DAL is good for you, which I think it objectively is not in every single case. That is definitively a bad move, but I'm not in control of what people do with their money. However, if you do wish to donate your money to a worthy cause or clause or whatever, I do have super chats. There are memberships that don't have anything special to offer now, but I mean, I'll work on them as it happens. I do accept tips via methods because, internet ain't going to pay for itself. But if you can't, that's cool. Only if you can and you feel the urge. Either way, y'all are fucking awesome. I love every time I stream. I get so nervous. I'm like, no one's going to watch. It's going to go shitty. And then boom, I have a little audience. I get going and I have fun. It feels so weird because it's like, I know I'm talking to people and I know this is live, but it doesn't feel live. I don't feel like I'm on stage. So it's freaking awesome. I'm not going to say Kent looks at... I forget I can just, there's a StreamYard, so I can just put the comments up there. So, yeah, we're just saying. And yep, work in a place where the numbering's an absolute mess. Exactly. And it's easy for it to get askew in any plan. As soon as something physically changes, the numbering scheme goes right out the window.
Being taught, communicate to him that teacheth. And communicate means, help him out financially. Okay. Giving it
Communicate means, help them out financially. Yes, help out Caruso Tomato financially if you can. If not, that's cool too.
shall be given to you. We're straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, in the little town of Lenox, Alabama. If you drive a semi truck up and down 65, need a place to stop and park and take the tour. We got 140 acres. Can we handle semi trucks here? How many could we park down there, Will?
But Kent, won't those semis going up and down Pearl Lane kick up dust? That dust you really don't like? That 1 ton of dust a day? Now you're inviting them? Okay.
I think we could hold 30 or 40 if they park them right, couldn't they? Easy, yeah. Come on down. We got room.
We're going to put boots on them. You're going to have to listen to a sermon and tithe us $1,000 each. And then you'll be able to get it off.
Let's see. Come take the tour. We have 5 different tours we give now. We'll talk more about that some other time. For years, we
Hey, Kent, all that dust, why don't you pile it together into a man statue, like that episode of The Twilight Zone, where the little people on the planet build like a stone statue of the guy, of one of the astronauts. They start worshiping him. It's a really cool episode. I fucking love Twilight Zone. I could just sit here and talk about Twilight Zone all fucking day. Anyway, how about you do that? Make a dust man, breathe into it, and see what happens. Or ask your God to do it, and let's see what happens. You got so much dust hanging around you're complaining about. How about you make your God create humans again, Hovind?
We gave hundreds of tours to the visitors on side-by-sides that were donated. We sold them all and now have got Jeeps. That yellow Jeep, Nick fixed the engine. That thing will go 60 to 0 in 1 second when you hit a tree.
Wow, a whole second to go to 0. I'm sure someone could actually do the math on the weight of a Jeep, the average Jeep, and do the calculations on how long it would actually take for the energy to be imparted into the average tree, thus bringing the overall velocity to 0. Highly doubt it is a full second. Also, boomer joke isn't funny, Kent. Just come on, dude. Try harder.
Can you help us stay open for free? Join our 777 club. If you're a member, while you have any questions about that, call Sandra.
He had to play with his neck vagina there. Oh, look, blurry Hovind. Hovind's a blur. Can't find his wife. His wife ran off. Good.
Sandra, 855 Big Dino extension 1 or secretary at drdino.com. Here we are, Dr. Dino. There's our website. Open for free. 8.49 years now. Awful close to flipping over to 8.45.
You know, in my Q&A that never happened, and I need to do a video on that, I did get one question for September, and it was, do I ever plan on having a camera set up? And the short answer is maybe. But if I did have a camera set up, Kent talks about things flipping over. He could see my middle finger flip over right there for how stupid that joke was. And all his jokes, and him in general. Because fuck him.
Wow. Okay. There's our channel. Let's see. We got more than that now. The world has been at war. Just in 2023, how many wars were going on? All those red countries had wars going on.
Oh, think about what he said there. All those red countries. Uh-oh, Chris is getting into political commentary again. You got to shut down his channel. Hovind. Nah. But seriously, it's just kind of funny.
Number of countries where armed conflicts took place. The different years back from 1989 on, 40 or 50 countries, 60 countries, always at war.
Guys, I have something awesome to report. And no shit, Simon Dan just followed me on Instagram. Real talk. That is cool. All right. He must have saw that I made a video reacting to Kent talking bullshit about him. I didn't even tag him. I just made the video. Also, that reminds me, it's members only now, but you may remember I did that response to the dude Barely Protestant. I need to get back to him about me and him having a discussion at some point. I have been very busy with work and then gaming to where I've forgotten to get back to him. But we had no critical plans. I just need to email him back and apologize for not emailing sooner and just figure out when a good time might be. Because the thing is, it'd be a Thursday and I might be tired from work. I don't know. But now I'm just thinking about stuff. But dudes, man, Dan followed me. Hell yeah. Take that as a badge of honor, like when Amazing Atheist followed me like forever ago. We're talking in the Drunken Peasants days. That was a good moment. That was damn near 10 years ago now, too. I love little niche communities when they don't suck. And this one doesn't suck. Y'all are awesome.
What's going on?
Well, Kent, generally speaking, countries oftentimes want things that other countries have. And much like two individuals deciding we're going to fight about it when they have a disagreement, countries sometimes get into that. But you're going to say that this is all prophecy from God because, book says a thing.
How many of you have ever been in the military? Anybody ever been in the military?
Show of hands, Hovind. Kent, you never been in the fucking military. Shut the fuck up. Put your goddamn hand down, you flying piece of shit. Stolen valor. Stolen fucking valor. Put your hand down, Hovind. Piece of shit.
What's this with all the wars? My dad was a sergeant in the Marines, World War II, only survivor of his platoon.
Oh my God, no one cares. Also, has anyone ever looked up the veracity of his claims? Because I'm just curious about the actual facts surrounding the stories Kent says about his dad.
America's been a country almost 250 years. During that time, we've been at war for 230 of those years. Only 20 years out of 250 where we have not had a war going on. We've been in 133 military conflicts. Over 1 million U.S. soldiers have died in wars. Many more have been wounded, crippled, traumatized, impoverished, or lost loved ones. So, where do all these wars come from?
A box of Cracker Jacks? I mean, dude, it's people being people. I know you're gonna work it into your Jeebus story, though. That's what you're gonna do because that's what Ken Hovind does. We're not gonna go too much further into this. It looks like he just gets straight into eventually talking about the Bible passage. This was his stream this morning, of course.
And why? God made a perfect world. Man wrecked it. God didn't.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe we did have a perfect world and then people believing in God's wrecked it. Tribalism. It's kind of a problem. My God's better than your God. What's that whole thing from Conan? The God argument they have. I can't remember it right now, but it's a fine, apt thing for this.
Want this. He knew it would happen. God knows everything. But see, knowing is not causing. There's a difference. I could watch a football game, which I never do, but let's pretend, okay?
Oh, he's got to add that in. I'm better than you. I don't watch football. Okay, Kent. Yeah, we know you have no hobbies. You have no interests. Nothing brings you joy. Except the Bible. That's BUI-BULL. Someone left that as the name in a comment for it, and I just loved it. I never thought about that. But yeah, Kent, we get you have no hobbies whatsoever. You are the most boring person in the universe. You don't need to remind us every 5 seconds. We know.
Watch a football game and I videotape it. And I invite Nick to come over and watch the game. Hey, Nick, sit here and watch. During the last 3 seconds, the guy throws the bomb, and if they catch it, they win. If he misses it, they lose. So we're watching the game go along, and it's neck and neck. And last 3 seconds, the guy throws the bomb, and I hit pause. And Nick says, well, is he going to catch it? I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Right at that moment, we have 3 different views. I know what's going to happen. I've already seen it. I don't control it, but I know. The guys on the field, they don't know. They're in control, but they don't have knowledge. I have knowledge.
Technically speaking, the guys on the field do know, because if you're referring to them as their identities that exist in the present with you, they've played the game. So they also know the outcome. If you're talking about the moment of their existence that's captured in the video, no, they wouldn't. But that moment no longer exists, depending on how you look at the constructs of time and all that jazz. I actually had a dream about time travel last night, of all things. I have really weird dreams thanks to my medication. So yeah, it's a weird time travel dream, and I had to remind the person I was with, do not go and try to meet yourself. I know you want to, but don't. And it was like dead serious too. It's actually a pretty cool dream. One of the few that didn't go south. Normally they end up being nightmares. But anyway, yeah, we know where Kent's going with this, but let's just continue.
Knowledge but no control. They have control but no knowledge. And you're sitting on the couch saying, I don't have either one. Push play. I want to see. Okay. So God can know everything, but not doesn't mean he's causing it. Don't blame.
Okay, but the deity can also intervene. And so if they don't intervene, then they're letting it happen at the very least. But scriptures also say that the deity is in charge of everything explicitly and that everything goes according to, quote, their plan. Ergo, the God did cause it because it's part of their plan. Which is it?
Blame God when you do stupid stuff and hurt yourself. Okay. God knew you would do it. Well, why didn't he stop me? God doesn't want robots. He wants people that love him voluntarily. You don't have to serve God if you don't want to.
Yeah, but you fucking threaten and punish if you don't. So, I mean, obviously, the deity does care and is very concerned about this. Because why would they punish you if you didn't? It makes no sense. I don't care about somebody not liking me or not watching my videos. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Move on. So I'm not an egomaniacal fuck like your God obviously is. And they look at this as like a point of pride, a point of value, as something positive. It's like, no, this is horrible.
You can pay the consequence if you don't. You don't have to listen to good advice. You don't have to. How many of you have ever done something dumb because you did not listen to good advice and you wish you could go back a few seconds and undo that dumb thing you just did? Okay. So don't confuse God knowing with God controlling.
So see, okay, here's an example. Let's say you're a child. You're 5. You've been told not to stick the fork in the electric outlet. You fucking do it anyway, and it shocks your ass. That's your own damn fault, right? But if your mom's there, watching you do it, and they don't try to stop you, whose fault is it then? Generally, everyone's going to say the mom should have prevented it. And that's on a mortal level of things. So I would expect a deity to have infinitely more, not just responsibility, but also concern for what does actually happen. And yet they do nothing. This is one of the reasons at most all I could ever be is a deist, and was for the longest, because it was clearly evident that the deity not only didn't act in the universe, but obviously never really did to begin with, save for maybe some kind of setting shit in motion. But that was me when I was a kid, when I was super young. Thank you. I'm glad that you are appreciating me bringing up the show of hands thing. I felt like I was the only one who had noticed it for a moment. I knew I wasn't, but it's nice to know that you felt the same way and are appreciative of someone bringing it up, because yes, it is really, really bad.
Anyway, man sinned, and part of God's punishment was you have to work now to be able to eat. That's the punishment.
Explain how, explain why. Is there a logic chain there? What is sin anyway, first off? How does one quantify sin? How does one define sin? How does one do a sin? How does one not do a sin? Now, you'd think that's super easy, but it's really not, because it just seems to be an arbitrary list of things with no practical reasoning.
So where do all these wars come from? Well, rather than accept his punishment and get to work, man began looking for ways to get others to work for him. Hey, the neighbor.
Like you do, Kent? I don't want to build this theme park myself. I need to get other people to do it for me. And give me your old Jeeps. Donate lumber. Oh, you gave me a big air conditioner, but it's 3-phase. We only have 1-phase, so we can't use it. It's a practical concern, but still. Hovind.
Neighbor country, they've got good oil fields and they got lots of money and they work hard over there. Let's go steal their land. That's what wars go to. God saw everything that he made, and it was very good. And God said to Adam, because you sinned, cursed is the ground for thy sake.
So, here's another thing. All right. So, because of the Adam and Eve story, they sin, they get kicked out of the garden. Couldn't God have just killed them and started fresh? Because his idea at the Noah story was kill everyone and start fresh. Why the fuck didn't he just do that to begin with when it would have been easier? This is just a terrible story. That's the thing I hate about just even trying to read the Bible as even a piece of literature is that it is fundamentally just a terrible story. I could write something infinitely better. I've considered writing a version of the Bible that is actually a coherent story, but I realize that's fundamentally impossible. Now, I could do it, but it requires so many compromises that I don't think it would even resemble the original text beyond basically lifting the gist of the plot. But even then, I'd have to remove a lot of facets of it. So, I don't know what to do. Still seems like a fun thing to do.
Look at that. For thy sake. Listen, one of the best things you parents can do.
A war on Kent Hovind. Go take his land, Hovind. I don't know, man. Those Alabama rednecks. I mean, the people in Lennox might not care, but, I'm sure the police would still say something because, they got to do their job. I don't want to make their lives any more complicated. Apparently, allegedly, Kent's legal issues from spousal abuse have been delayed because of a murder in the county hogging up the courts because they're not equipped for such. So,
Is teach your kids to work. It's for your good. That's what my dad did with me. Man, I learned so many things. By the time I was 15, I could fix a car and build a house. And what do you know how to do? Some of you kids, all you know how to do is push a button and chase Zelda or something. Stop.
Yeah, Kent, you really knew how to build a house when you were 15. Sure. And I'll agree that practical skills and such are good to learn. One should not just sit there all the time playing video games and the like and doing literally nothing. But at the same rate, one should also be able to enjoy their free time as they see fit. Barring it harming anyone else shouldn't be judged for that, which I need to take my own medicine in that statement sometimes. So, got to work on bettering myself for being judgmental of other people's hobbies in some cases. Regardless, you giving people shit over simply wanting to enjoy their life the way they wish to, it's just fucking rude, Kent. I mean, par for the course,
God cursed the ground for thy sake. It's good for you to work, okay? He said, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. So, James.
What do you say about sweat of face? Because there's no bread in the sweat on my face. Actually, it's not that hot in here for once, but it gets pretty hot with all this equipment running. Still, Kent got his first PhD at 13. Kent has 4 PhDs. I have 5 from a better university than him. So that's why right now I'm Dr. Kurisumato, because we got a point to prove here, ladies and germs.
James chapter 4. I apologize for my throat. I talk a lot. Atheists say I know too much. No. From whence come wars and fightings? Where do all the wars come from? From your lust. You want things that you don't have because you didn't work hard enough to get it.
Yeah, and Kent didn't want to pay his taxes and then got mad when the government raided his ass. You lusted after that money, Kent. You decided, I don't have to pay taxes because I'm a sovereign citizen of the state of Florida. I don't agree to the federal corporation, Hovind. What the fuck, bro? Do you have any self-reflection, any retrospectiveness on yourself? I mean, I'm sitting there saying stuff earlier and being like, I should probably take my own advice and stop being a bit judgmental over how some people choose to enjoy their free time, because I have done that relatively recently. You... God. This, Kent, this joy I'm feeling right now from just being able to point out how fucking bass-ackwards and hypocritical you are. Thank you for being the biggest lolcow since Christian for me to take interest in and decide to milk. Because I'm not touching the Christian issue. Christian already made one video because of me. That's further than I ever wanted anything to go. But you, Kent, you are a lol cow I'm going to keep milking until there's nothing left to milk. Because I'm having fun with this. And clearly my audience is as well. Love y'all.
Did you? One guy said, if you want what I've got, do what I did, and you'll get what I've got. Some of you want what I've got without doing what I did. Okay.
Hang on. I think I know how to pronounce water. It's water. Hopefully that came out right and wasn't just a horrible noise for everybody. The joke was he cleared his throat and said water at the same time. The water. Oh, and and then other things he says wrong, like drowning and such. He has that weird pronunciation. I think he's one of those guys who says height instead of height. That bothers me too.
You ask and receive not because you ask amiss. You're asking for the wrong reason, that you may consume it upon your lust. You just want it because you want their money, so you don't have to work for it.
Hey, Kent, did you want Mary Toko while you were still married to Joe? Because you knew her back then. And, just saying, given the hypocritical nature of you, you don't seem like the kind of guy who actually stayed all that faithful. I'm not making an allegation per se. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
That's why people rob banks. That's why people rob stores. That's why most of the wars are fought. Let's see. What main causes of war? Number one, economic gain. Wars are caused by one country's wish to take over another country's wealth. And
Wow, this just in, ladies and gentlemen. Countries fight wars because they want things.
It can be on a personal level, one person robbing another person, one country robbing another country. It's all the same idea. So, okay, so where do these wars come from? I think that's all I was going to say here. Going to get me on different channels. Let me go to slide number. Not delete. Home. Slide number 1323. There.
Slide number 1323. So here's something funny. Kent's prison number 06452-017. It hit me that could be a phone number. 645-2017. I would almost love to get that phone number, pay the money to order the custom phone number specifically for him, or to call him from, or otherwise use in interactions with him, just because. See if he recognized it, see if it got under his skin. I'm not going to waste the money to do that, but it would be so fun to do. If you don't know, phones and such are kind of a hobby of mine, the older phone network. So you get to stuff like that, little number patterns that happen to be phone numbers. It clicks with me. So yeah.
Okay. It's been a long day, long night. Yeah, it's been a long week. Psalm chapter 27.
Oh yeah, missing out on the third option, religion. Yep. Always ignores that because no one's ever fought in the name of their deity. Even though, damn near every other war is in the name of their deity, one way or another. But what do we know? We're just godless heathens who don't know jack diddly shit, and we believe we came from Iraq. Hovind?
A psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. You should just study light. Light can be reflected, refracted, diffused, measured, slowed up, speeded down.
Kent. The day this man explains wave-particle duality of light, I'll eat my hat.
I should speed it up, slow down. But nobody knows what light is. Give me a jar of it and paint.
Discrete packets of photons. Discrete packets of energy in the form of photons that behave with both wave-like and particle-like properties. Because photons are fucking weird. No one knows what it is. We know exactly what it is. How it behaves is fucking weird, but we get it. In fact, that's even pretty well understood and explained. It's a bit more than I can parse at the moment. I know if I try, I'm going to fuck it up. But it's understood, and it's pretty fucking awesome. Put it in a jar, and that's not how it works.
Paint it green. Nobody knows.
Put God in a jar and paint it green. Oh, wait, God doesn't work that way? What do you know? Fucking Nimrod.
How much does a gallon of light weigh? We know what it does, but that's not knowing what it is. The Bible says God is light. Our day one of our science center, we have a bunch of cool.
Okay, so this just in, everyone. God consists of photons that are at a frequency that we define as visible light. So it's not infrared, it's not microwave, it's not long wave radiation, it's not radio waves of any kind, it's not gamma rays. God is specifically energy in like towards like whatever the damn frequency is. I forget. I feel like it was somewhere around like four. There's like a 400 in there somewhere. Put a green LED in a jar. Easy. Oh, yes. There you go. There you go. Well, you can't just have the LED. You do got to have the ancillary circuitry to get it working, the proper power supply, possibly resistance, exit, a few other things. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I just want to, anyone who comes in this on the Hovindites or this far in the stream and they're like, but you can't just put a jelly down there. You got to have the electronomicons to it. It's like, yeah, we know. I come from a life where you have to explain every single thing in explicit detail for everything you ever do. So, you got to address that shit. 0.2032 battery is all you need. Yeah. Realistically, yeah. I mean, you want to kind of buffer some of the input output voltages. It just depends on the ratings of the LED. And it gets complicated, but yeah. And we got a Hovind. We got a Hovind. Yeah, obviously I stole that bit from AJ. AJ heavily inspired me to do these, but I was wanting to react, quote unquote, to Hovind's content before I had discovered AJ. It was after the Professor Dave debate. Between that and the R&Raw discussion, I really wanted to do like long, detailed written pieces on it for my website, which is sadly super neglected. And I did write a few pieces, but then I decided to start doing these videos, partly inspired by AJ, and here we are now.
Science experiments about light. It's amazing. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Oh, through this.
Yes, electrical is all wizard magic. I love the description of computers. You take a rock, you smash it flat, and then you put lightning in it, and you have a computer. It's like, yeah, that's kind of what you do. I mean, not really, but really dumb it down. Like if you're explaining it to a freaking caveman, the freaking Trogdor, the Burninator. Yeah.
This psalm, David talks about his enemies, about being afraid, about being attacked.
But, well, I don't know if y'all heard that. That was, loud ass car driving down the road, because of course it was. Fucking Memphis. Also think strong nuclear force is Jesus, literally. So imagine Jesus holding together every single atom. You're telling me there's a Jesus for every single atom out there? Or excuse me, at least every atom that has both a proton and a neutron. So, does that mean the trillions of atoms in your body all have their own Jesus? Does that make that all those Jesuses combined your personal Jesus? Was Depeche Mode right?
His foes. Life is a battle. It just is. I'm sorry. It's a battle. Sometimes it's a battle just to get up in the morning. How many have ever had to fight that battle before? Okay, right foot, you go first.
No. I love electronics as well. I'm just a little out of I was about to say out of touch, a little rusty on things. I haven't been able to work on stuff for a while. I spent 6 years in a job, local game store, one-off, privately owned, that doing a lot of console repair and the like. I've done a lot of stuff involving every single system you can possibly imagine. Let me tell you, fucking hate PlayStations. Fucking hate them. I hate Xbox 360s working on those bastards too, but I really, really hate PlayStation 4s. Fuck those things. Shit. So Holy Spirit is gravity then? I guess so. All these atoms are saved, that's for certain. It says through him all things consist. A universe full of Jebuses. Everything's Jebus. You get a Jesus, and you get a Jesus. Everyone gets a Jesus.
He says, no, I went first yesterday. It's the left foot's time to go first. The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, he's talking about enemies.
See, okay, so of whom shall I be afraid? Why, in any way, shape, or form, should you be scared of an all-loving deity? There should be no condition to where you should ever fear any deity that would be truly all-loving, all-caring, all-compassionate. Zero. Any deity that deserves worship as opposed to demands respect would not be something you would ever fear. Ever. Said, terribly written story. Full stop.
Again. Even my enemies, my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh. They stumbled and fell. The wicked is mentioned in the Bible a bunch of times, okay?
Hey, you know, the phrase kill all is in the Bible a bunch of times too, Kent. I think I did a search on King James and kill is in there like 212 times or something crazy. Just saying.
Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou destroy the righteous with the wicked? This is when the angels were going to go to Sodom and burn up the city. But he said, wait, my nephew Lot lives there. Are you going to burn up the righteous with the wicked? And the angel, Abraham said, what if you find 50 good people there? Would you spare the city? He said, yep. He said, okay, what if there's only 5 missing? What if you find 45? Yep, I'd spare it. What if you find 40? How about 30? How about 20? How about 10? Talked him down to 10. See, Lot and his wife had 2 daughters, which were married. There's 6. He thought at least his family would be godly. And surely they've been there for 20 years. Maybe they led 4 people.
Yeah, and then the woman, she looked back as everything was going, and she turned into salt, and that's good for God to do. Just murder dude's wife. He's just got to deal with it. It's like, what the fuck, bro? That's some bullshit right there.
To the Lord. Surely there's 10 people, but when the angels got there, they couldn't even find 10. And when they got him out of the city.
Yeah, the Stockholm Syndrome comparison is pretty apt, I'd say, for a lot of religions. It's really terrifying the more you think of it. That's what pushed me away completely, one of the aspects.
His family still fell apart. His 2 daughters went bad. You can read that story for yourself in Genesis. Anyway, Genesis 8.
Yeah, if we can read the story ourselves, then we don't need you. So get the fuck out of here. Go get a real job, Hovind.
Exodus 31, after the 10 commandments. If thou shalt not raise a false report, put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. God really hates people who lie about on the witness stand, bearing false witness, or just lie about somebody else.
I didn't do any structuring. No, it was my wife. She's the one who did all the structuring. But I'm not lying. Hovind.
God hates that. If there be a controversy between men, and they come to judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn.
You know, to be fair, I trust a Catholic's interpretation of the Bible more than I do anyone else's. That's not to say I trust it much at all. But, you know, just saying. They're kind of the not the OGs, but they're the OGs that we actually have when it comes to this stuff. I know, it gets all nuanced and complicated. And I mentioned the dude Barely Protestant earlier. He would have a lot to say on that, especially with the doctrines of the Pope and all that stuff. You know, I'm just saying, you know, the older branches you can go, those would be, to me, the truer ones from an outside standpoint looking in. But that's neither here nor there because it's all bullshit.
Condemn the wicked. That's the purpose of the court system. Not to get political gain and get your, political enemy indicted so he can't run for president.
Ooh, mad about Trump being a piece of shit. I'm dying. I can't be except he's running. So, obviously nothing is coming of that. He hasn't been prevented from running, which is fucking weird that a convicted felon can't vote for president, but they sure as hell can run for president, apparently. Also, Kent, you're a convicted felon. As far as I understand, you don't have voting rights, and you probably would have renounced them anyway with all your other soft sit bullshit. So why the fuck do you even care about politics? Oh, right, because you still want stuff that benefits you, even if you can't actually vote anymore. It's funny how that works.
Let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end. In the book of Psalms, there's a lot about this topic of the wicked and fighting the enemy. It's just a battle out there, folks. God judges the righteous. God is angry with the wicked every day. Now,
No, I asked Kent about that whole King James version, and he was like, "Well, King James funded it because they wanted a better translation, and then da 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 da, and then it was originally called the such and such, and then we now just call it the King James, and I think it's the best translation. They went back to the original text, and da 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 da." And yeah. I asked him that question just to gauge nuance about his response, what kind of stuff he'd say. One, for me being on his little live call-in thing, especially right after AJ. Two, them expecting me to be a complete asshole because I had just been one to Joseph like the other day in my comments. And then just to prose something completely benign that gives him an air of authority and just get his genuine opinion no matter what it was, which of course he was still mad that I didn't just watch his video number whatever on it. Which, I might do that sometime, but I really don't give a flying fuck about versions of the Bible because it's all bullshit either way you slice it. Except my version. The one I'm going to write, going to be perfect. I'm going to go on and do that. I'm just going to make my own version. Who's going to stop me? No one, that's who.
He hasn't done anything yet. He's still giving you time to repent. And if you're wicked and you're saying, well, God didn't do nothing to me yet. He's
yeah, because the all-loving thing's going to beat your ass later. That's really all-loving.
Got records of everything you've ever thought about.
I got mad at one of my cats earlier, and I felt fucking terrible after I did earlier, and they deserved it. They knocked some shit down, they got in an area they knew they shouldn't have been in, and I still felt bad for getting mad at them. I'm more loving than God. Of course, I've also not, killed everyone on the planet. Also didn't punish people for eating from a tree that I put within their reach anyway and brought to their attention that they shouldn't eat when I could have just moved it. What other things haven't I done that are horrible? Oh yeah, lots of shit. Remember, all of us here in the chat, everyone watching, are infinitely better than the Christian God. Period.
Everything you've ever said and done, he's got a record, and you're going to be judged. I like what my nephew Chad says. Do you want a fair trial or do you want forgiveness?
The Yamato Bible. Seriously, I could do that.
I don't want a fair trial. How many of you do not want a fair trial for your life? Okay. I want forgiveness. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God.
So, this 1611 translation might have been cool for its time, but we still need a modern version, which is why I actually keep an NIV, because I was just like, it's the most reasonably written one, and I found it at Goodwill for like $10. How much did I spend on this piece of shit? Let me see. Pick that up, move my gun, because as is the universal joke here, I no joke in my bedside table have a gun on top of a Bible. The most American shit ever. Let's see. It was August 16th of 2014. This was put out for $2.99. $2.99. Yep, there it is. It's printed like a normal book too. I mean, it's still got the 2 columns instead of 3, but it's like normal paper. It's not Bible paper, so it's an actual normal book. Except it's full of, garbage. But still, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. This one right here, Bible Shoot in the original Klingon. If there isn't a Klingon translation, there should be, because that'd be pretty awesome. And also, it just hit me. Again, big fan of Guild Wars. There's a person who has a script translator for text that'll translate stuff into the I think it's the Assuran script. It's one of the common scripts in the Guild Wars universe, including properly compacting symbols like a CH sound, a ch sound, or a k sound that is a particular glyph. It'll fix that. I could, if I really put my mind to it, get the entire Bible translated, or transliterated, I should say, into that and publish it. That'd be fucking wild. But if I was going to do that, I'd just go all out and do text from Guild Wars in the native script just to be cool. Let's look at some comments here.
The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. The wicked, he casteth down the wicked to the ground.
Yeah, because Kent believes he's buddy-buddy with this dictator, so he can do no wrong. That's Christianity in a nutshell, too. That's why you always find so many people who are just... Look at the prison population. I'm just saying. It's, you know, they honestly believe that they can get away with this stuff in the grand scheme. That's the dangers of religion, is that if people can meet the criteria for some afterwards punishment or avoid the afterwards punishment, then any current punishment, any punishment in our world, in the real world, is effectively meaningless. Even if they don't necessarily like it, it's still, they convince themselves it's of no true value compared to the eternal punishment or eternal reward they'll get for meeting those criteria.
They rejoice to do evil. They delight in the frowardness of the wicked. Froward means stubborn. When some of you people love to watch these atheist channels, and when the atheist says something stubborn against God or against Hovind or something like that, you delight in that.
Against God or against Hovind. Kent, you just had to put that in there, didn't you? And then people wonder why we call you you wonder why we call you an egomaniac, why we call you a narcissist. You literally are putting yourself in Jesus' position. You could have at least said against God or Jesus, or even just against me. That being said, he's talking about us. Yeah, we're under his skin.
Oh, wow, he bashed Hovind, didn't he? This is you right here.
Oh my God, Simon Dan, thank you for popping in. It's an honor to have you. I saw you follow me on Instagram earlier. Oh man, I'm glad you appreciated it, because yeah, that was something else. Wow. Wow. Oh man. Sorry, I'm a little starstruck here. Woohoo!
Proverbs 2, read that. Put your name there. Okay. The wicked shall be cut off from the earth.
Oh man, I'm so glad I could make you laugh. It really genuinely means a ton to me. This is the kind of stuff I've been doing. You are part of my inspiration on stuff. Don't ever think you aren't a part. I'm heavily inspired by AJ to do the Hovind stuff, but watching you, Conspiracy Cats, and some others got me wanting to start tackling this stuff, even if I can't necessarily just flat out make a 10-minute video where I put everything together and just attack it. I can have some fun ripping into it and try to provide entertainment for people. That's the goal, and I'm so glad that you had fun watching it. It means a ton to me, man.
You know, there's going to come a time when it's only righteous people get to rule this world. It's got to be cool. Can you imagine living in a world with no sin, no law?
Oh man, this. Oh man, it's great. Simon Dan arriving has effectively derailed the stream in the best of ways, because now I don't care about Hovind's stupid stuff anymore. I've just been having too much wow. Just thinking, hey, Dan enjoyed, man. But yeah, Hovind, this guy, serious piece of work, and I do feel that it's been nice that sorry, my iPhone heard me say serious and thought I was saying Siri. He is just a consistent piece of work, even in his Bible studies, and his little going over each individual part. He'll still crack his same comments. He'll still throw in the same snide, side comments, his jokes, and make things about himself. Because like I said earlier, he compared himself to Jesus. He got mad at us for making videos on him, for talking about him. And it's like, you say crazy stuff, Kent. You're rude. If you were a nice person, it wouldn't be so bad. But you're a terrible person. You do these videos, you talk crap about us, you simply reject what you believe in. You assert it so hard as to try to deny actual science. It's madness. Absolute madness. That's why we do this, Kent. You're a lol cow, we milk you for the laughs, and in the end of the day, that's what you're good for as far as we're concerned. If you didn't come across our radars, we wouldn't care. but you did, and you make it worse for yourself every time a new one of us pops up. Every comment, every video, every time. And it's the best that we can do that. Oh man, sorry, I'm just letting some of these go by. Kent and Chris Jones will be gone then. Exactly. Yeah, if there was a righteous world, they sure as heck would be. Different little misogynist too. Yeah, his misogyny is indescribable. You know, he kind of hides it well because he doesn't always crack a joke, but he takes them 9 out of 10 times. And Kent's responsible for people like Matt Powell. Exactly. If Kent can inspire Matt Powell to do the stuff he does, then AJ ripping into him, Dan ripping into them, so many others are in Raw. Originally Logic was the first inspiration. That's of course how I found out about him. If they all going into him can do this and act as a front against his just outright insanity, then, you know, I'm in damn good company. I couldn't think of better people to be around, to be working with on all this. Whew. I don't know how to top that, honestly. I think we're about to just call it here. Again, y'all are absolutely awesome. Again, Dan, if you're still around, appreciate you so much for checking out my video. Everyone who's been here, you are the best. The little community I built up in the past couple of months has just been freaking awesome. You're all good friends. Love you much. Take care, everyone.